I'm Carolyn Pierce, class of 2007, and I studied abroad in Sweden from 2004 to 2005. Studying abroad, I realized while scribbling away in a journal one night in Uppsala gave me this incredible time in my life. I was completely alone in a completely foreign environment with no identifying markers to define me. It allowed me, forced me really, to examine myself, what it was that I stood for, and who I was, and who I am. It made me me.
I'm Jacob Rue, class of 2005, and I studied abroad in Australia in 2002. I've never had the opportunity to leave America prior to receiving the Wolfe Study Abroad Scholarship. However, as of today, I've lived on 4 continents and have traveled to a little over 20 countries. The Wolfe family gave me a key to the door of the world, and when I unlocked it, I ran through it.
I'm Catherine Copland, class of 2002 and 2003, and I studied abroad in Luxembourg in 2000. I learned so much about myself. I became more knowledgeable of the world around me and how interconnected we truly are. The most memorable experience was living with my host family and truly becoming a part of their family. I learned as much from them and my travels around Europe as I did from my time in the classroom. In our ever-shrinking world, it is crucial that students have an understanding of other cultures, beliefs, and ideas. Students need to be able to collaborate with other people in order to be successful.
I'm Brett Profit, class of 2007, and I studied abroad in Japan in 2003 and 2004. My grandmother is Japanese, so as long as I could remember, I held a fascination with Japan. Starting when I was young, it had been my dream to visit my relatives in Japan, to learn the language, and to experience a life that was part of my family's heritage. Through the study abroad program, I was able to accomplish all of this. I met many of my Japanese relatives for the first time. I learned my grandmother's native language, and I experienced a life so unlike my own in America, but also familiar. It was amazing to see aspects of my life and my grandmother's influence come together in a land so far away.
I'm Megan Watson, class of 2007, and I studied abroad in Spain in 2006. Studying abroad helped me to grow so much as a person and learn to truly depend on myself. It was really amazing to see these places firsthand that I had heard about and learned about for so long. It was incredible to see a totally different place and culture than what my sheltered life experiences had shown me thus far. It is so important to understand all the differences of people around you because our world is only becoming more and more global. These interactions between cultures are a fact of daily life, and you need to be open-minded enough to understand this and know how to respect and work with these differences.
Hello, I'm Kenny Galloway, class of 2003, and I studied abroad in Mexico in 2001 and 2002. After 5 years of managing sales in northern Mexico, currently I'm living in Paris, completing a Master of Public Affairs. Without question, my study abroad experiences were what most impacted me and molded me to who I am today. The best way to find out who you are is to learn about and explore the differences of others. Once one realizes that difference is neither bad nor wrong, it's simply different, we can learn to appreciate the beauty that the world has to offer and to apply that knowledge back at home. It's ironic. The more I explore the world, the more people I meet, the more languages I learn, the greater I fall in love with my hometown, Columbus, Ohio. Not because Columbus is any better, or worse for that matter, but because I can relate to the beauties that I've experienced around the world and more deeply understand and respect the beauties that we grow so accustomed to that may be hiding just in our backyard.
I'm Moonchuk Chong, class of 2006, and I studied abroad in France in 2004. My experience was far the best ever because I was able to take classes throughout the week and travel on free time. The valuable learning was priceless and unattainable without the help of Wolfe Scholarship. From living in France for a summer, I noticed that my way of thinking was challenged by cross-cultural differences. In many ways, these differences will always be in place, but it is how we can openly accept and embrace the different values that will foster a more interactive world.
I'm Jason Block, class of 2006, and I studied abroad in England in 2005. I've never had a job interview where I was not asked about my study abroad experience. I keep it on my resume because it's such a great conversation starter. As technology and interdependence make the world smaller and smaller, knowing how to live in other societies becomes more of a necessity.
I'm Katie Height, class of 2001, and I studied abroad in England in 2000. My trip was one of the first experiences I had where I felt truly academically challenged. The lecture and discussion style of the classes offered new insight from classmates and made me push myself to think differently about the issues and topics raised in class. I feel like my current career choice is an extension of my desire to learn and to help others learn, as librarianship is a field full of scholarship, growth, and challenges.
Hello, I'm Noel Kaufman, Ohio State class of 2004, and I studied abroad in Bristol, England in 2001. I learned to view myself and especially our country from an outside viewpoint. Everyone was very polite, but they were definitely sure to inform me of their opinions. To completely immerse myself in another culture and feel like I'm one of them has made me have a goal to work internationally and definitely pushed me to travel more. I'm not afraid to go anywhere, and I will definitely want to meet as many people as possible.
I'm Travis Waller, class of 2005, and I studied abroad in Copenhagen, Denmark in 2004. Living with international students from countries such as China, United Arab Emirates, Australia, and all across Europe, I learned firsthand about diverse and different cultures and customs. I had the opportunity to eat authentic meals, learn about unique traditions, and debate political and economic ideologies. My experience improved my communication skills and ability to work effectively in groups. I found group projects to be challenging at times because I was trying to reach a conclusion with people who had a completely different frame of reference than I. The ability to communicate and work effectively with others are skills directly transferable to almost every professional environment.
I'm Julianne Mills, class of 2003, and I studied abroad in the Netherlands in 2002. One of the most powerful experiences of being abroad was the opportunity to see how others viewed the United States, and to have the opportunity to interact with people from so many countries and gain so many different perspectives of how different people view the world. While Europe is certainly far less different from the United States than many places I've visited since, there was still ample opportunity to experience different worldviews.
I am Michael Brooke, class of 2007, and I studied abroad in Australia in 2007. Students develop a better understanding of a global economy while having the opportunity to study abroad. I believe that it opens our eyes and makes us aware of many things that we did not know before we traveled to our respective locations. Taking part in study abroad was the best decision I made while attending the Ohio State University.
I'm Nick Torres, class of 2008, and I studied abroad in Mexico in 2006. The entire experience opened my eyes to the field of international education. Knowing what a positive impact study abroad left on me, I want to work to increase the awareness and appreciation of similar programs for other students. More than anything, my time in Mexico made it clear that I have to go back.
I'm Seth Reno, class of 2005 and 2007, and I studied abroad in England in 2004. During my study abroad experience in Bath, England, I realized that I wanted to become a professor of English, and I'm now a PhD student at Ohio State. I also made some of my best friends who are also in the graduate program here at Ohio State. The globalization of politics, economics, and theory in post-modernity spills over into the academy, where interdisciplinarity, collaboration, and critical theory continue to become more and more common and significant in literary and cultural research.
I'm LaHenry Gibbon, class of 2006, and I studied abroad in Ghana in 2002. This program was my first time traveling abroad, and it really opened my eyes to the world. I was only 18 years old, a freshman in college, and at that point I wasn't even sure what major I wanted to pursue. This trip really sparked my interest in African American studies, which ended up being my major. I also traveled to South America, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. I didn't even realize some things until well after I got home, but perhaps the most important is the healthcare system is so lacking in some places. I would really like to do more work in public health with the Center of Disease Control.
I'm Amanda Bassesi, class of 2007, and I studied abroad in the Czech Republic in 2006. I spend most of my time being in a high school classroom with students ranging from 14 to 18 years old. Many of them have not had any international experiences. I often refer to my study abroad trip to tell the kids how I learned about diversity and learned to welcome and accept it. I find that many of my students are closed-minded and have no idea about other parts of the world. They believe that the rest of the world is just like the community they live in, and things can't be any different anywhere else. I love to share stories and memories with them about my experience and hope that someday each of them will be able to experience some other part of the world. In my opinion, the world would be boring without different cultures and ways of life, and it is a blessing to be able to see other countries.
I'm Adam Davey, class of 2008, and I studied abroad in Italy in 2007. My study abroad experience was memorable because of the day-to-day experiences that come along with living and learning with new people in a new setting. I had a chance to see many amazing places as well as create new friendships. What had the most impact on me was being able to experience so much with other students who have their own thoughts and ideas about architecture. It really helped me to establish my own position in the field today.
I'm Lindsay McDougall, class of 2004, and I studied abroad in Czech Republic in 2003. Every part of being in Prague, studying rural agriculture and sustainable development for 6 weeks was absolutely amazing. The city, the culture, and the atmosphere all contributed to what I can only describe as the most amazing study abroad experience ever. We live in an increasingly globalized society. If you don't have a global perspective, then you will most certainly be left behind.